Hey guys, Danny here. Osa is right in front of me on my little table over there. She is intrigued by this candle that I lit up. So she's just sitting next to it, observing it. Don't worry though, she is safe. I'm watching her. No accident is going to happen right now. And Osa is probably going to move to this table any second now. And the mic right here, it's unhooked because this is not an official episode. There was going to be no episode of the repertory this week because I had no time to plan one. A very special celebration happened between yesterday and today for me, for Mexicans in Mexico. Uh, I slept 2 hours last night, so do forgive me. I am a little uh, foggy today. Today is December 12th, and we celebrate the apparition of Our Lady of Guadalupe in Mexico City. Real quick, within Catholic tradition, the apparition of Our Lady of Guadalupe is a an apparition of Virgin Mary that occurred in 1531. But for indigenous people, this is the apparition of Tonantzin, goddess and mother of everyone. Very important, very symbolic for our culture. The tradition says that in 1531, 10 years after Hernan Cortes took over Mexico, after the fall of Tenochtitlan, an indigenous man by the name of Juan Diego was on his way to town, and he was looking for a priest because his uncle Juan Bernardino was was really sick. He was about to die. So Juan Diego was looking first for some kind of doctor, and then he was looking for a priest, for the last goodbye, the last sacraments, I think. And so Juan Diego was going through, he was walking past a hill called El Cerro de Tepeyac, and it was the early hours of the morning, and he hears a singing that calls his attention, and he sees this woman that is dressed in a veil and a pink dress, and she's covered by the sun. And this woman that he sees on top of the hill tells him that she wants him to go see the bishop, because she wants her shrine on that hill. Juan Diego is very taken over by this, and he says, yes, absolutely, let me go see what I can do. And Juan Diego, this first apparition happened on December 9th. And so Juan Diego goes to see the bishop, Juan de Zumárraga. And Juan de Zumárraga, the bishop, is like, no way, I don't believe you. Why are you lying? I need proof. So Juan Diego goes back to who he calls Tonantzin, who he calls our mother, and says, the bishop did not believe me. Why don't you send someone that is more trustable, that he will believe? And Juan Diego goes back to the priest, but the priest once again says, no, I need proof. But at this point, Juan Diego's uncle is already very sick. So on the morning of December 12th, Juan Diego is determined to go get a priest for his uncle who is about to die. And he avoids where he has been meeting Guadalupe, and she eventually finds him on the hill, on the bottom of the hill, that morning, and tells him to go to the top of the hill and collect flowers on his tilma. And a tilma is like some like a cloak that the indigenous people wore, that they used to like cover themselves or to like collect things. So Juan Diego goes to the top of the hill, El Tepeyac, and he finds several flowers, which flowers in December do not grow there. They don't grow anywhere. It's the middle of winter, or it's about to be winter. And he collects the flowers, and he takes them to the priest, to the bishop, and he unveils the flowers, he unveils his cloak, and the image of Our Lady of Guadalupe is printed on that cloak. And so that is the miracle. Obviously, everyone believes. The bishop right away sends the starts the construction of her shrine. And now the shrine as we know it right now is a pretty new creation of that La Basilica. That basilica was built in 1971, but and before that there was like a smaller one and a smaller one, but this is all built on a river. So the one that was built first was sinking, so they created the new one in 1971. And before that, because it's been more than 400 years, she was out in the open air for centuries. And so that is the story. Her image on the cloak has a lot of symbolism, not only for Catholic people and for the Spanish, but also for the indigenous people. By today, they were expecting for 13 million people to show up to her shrine, La Basilica de Guadalupe, in Mexico City. It is the second most visited uh, Catholic shrine in the world after the Vatican. So it is very important. She is important in Mexico, here in the US, in Latin America, and the Philippines. Both of my cats are very intrigued by this candle that I have on. Give me a quick second. Now, in my house, we're not particularly religious. We don't really participate, in the Catholic Church. In fact, this is the only celebration that we go to church for. Well, this one and the Passion of the Easter celebration. We go to the reenactment of the Passion of the Christ that happens in spring, which is also a very Latin American tradition. But this one is the one that we truly go for, that we always go to. Most speaking Spanish churches will do like a little singing of Las Mañanitas. They usually happen around 5 a.m. Some other churches will do it at 4. It depends on the church. But it's always very beautiful. Some churches do a mass, but it's more fun when like it's just Las Mañanitas and you go and you sing a lot, and you'll see people bringing food and like sweet bread, tamales, hot chocolate, coffee, and they'll pass it out as a thank you to Our Lady of Guadalupe for another year, another day. We go to our church here around our home, and we'll usually bring sweet bread, and we've been doing that for a few years now. But what I've been recently doing is that there's a pilgrimage that mirrors the ones that happen in Mexico. Ours is only 8 hours long. In Mexico, they'll do pilgrimages from like other states that last days or even months, I've heard. And the goal is to make it on December 12th to the Basilica. But here, there's a shrine in the plains that um, is like the biggest one in the Midwest or even the country. But don't quote me on that. I think there's a bigger one in LA. But there different churches here in the city will leave and will walk all the way to this plains to sing to her at midnight. So there's one church around my home that, well, it's on Austin and Fullerton. So it's in Hermosa. I'm in Logan Square. That will leave at 5 on December 11th, and will walk 5 p.m. They leave and they make it there by midnight. So it's like an 8 hour, it's like a 7 to 8 hour walk. And it is a beautiful thing. Last night, I don't know if it's that I finally layered up correctly, that I dressed correctly for it. I wasn't as cold, but it was very cold. Last year, I went with my sister and we made it to Park Ridge where they stopped for like 45 minutes, and we were unable to make it all the way. We had to Uber the rest of the way because like it was really cold. We were probably not dressed well for the occasion. And then the first year that I did it, the year before that, I was able to make it through the entire walk. But the first year was rough for me. Like when I came back, like I had one of my feet was in pain afterwards. Like I was it was difficult. But it's always worth it. It's very beautiful. And what is beautiful is to see the other pilgrimages. People will like carry full size images, will carry a bunch of things, and these are all as what we call mandas, what we call promises. Promise of going to see her, of going to sing to her, to get a good year or to get a special, whatever your wish is. And it's like a lot of faith that you see, a lot of like real belief. It is very beautiful. And that happens here in Mexico City is like a whole other thing. Like I said, they were expecting 13 million people by today. A lot of people walk from like different states, from like wherever, and you'll see them. Sometimes people will walk or will go through some of the journey on their knees or like, and you know, all kinds of promises that they make and they get there. And this is a tradition that has been going on in Mexico. Last year we or this year we celebrated 494 years, so it's been centuries of this tradition that it does not go away. So it is very beautiful. It is a part of our culture, and that's what I was up to this week, and that's why I was unable to come up with an episode of this podcast.